Alright, hello, welcome to the Game Fanatics podcast. My name is Ben, and today I'm joined by Jeff,
Hey.
Greg, and Breezy.
Hello, humans.
And today, like typical humans, we are discussing something that's kind of come up a lot recently, the length of video games. So a story is now out based upon, was it Game Informer magazine? They still write magazines, right? Yeah.
I think so.
They had a preview of it, whatever. And they said, this is their quote, okay? Judged by just the core story mission, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is short. We completed it in just less than 2 hours. Now, granted, that is just the main mission. But 2 hours is kind of short. Now, let's break down the pricing, because of course, this is a Metal Gear game and everything has to be confusing. So, the current gen, or the last gen version, is $20 digital, $30 physical. This current / next gen version is $30 / $40 for physical, $30 digital. So, $40 seems like a lot of money for even 2 to 5 hours. Would we agree with that?
Nope.
I would agree, definitely.
Don't you be saying no, Breezy.
Nope. Because, Kojima spoke about this, I think, in Famitsu or something. And he stated, and I'm paraphrasing horribly,
Okay.
that Ground Zeroes is not, supposed to be a full-blown game.
Sure.
It's supposed to be, more of an introduction to, the next chapter of Snake's life.
It's a
They don't
prologue.
charge the same fucking price as a full game, then.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
The
No,
20
it is utterly fucking bullshit.
Yes. The $20 price,
No.
I could get behind the $20
No.
price.
Here's my thing. Movies are $7 for 2 hours. If you put out 2 hours of entertainment, you charge $7.
You
You
know?
can't interact with movies, though.
Fuck
Unless it's
that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm charging 10.
No,
instead of
interesting.
7.
Remember back when the first BioShock DLC came out, and people were like, "It's only 4 hours." People were livid about that. Cost $15.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna say you're gonna charge $40 for between 2 and 3 hours. That's utter fucking bullshit.
Well, buy the digital version for $20.
Yeah, but I don't want it on
20
last gen.
20 is even too much.
Well, then, you know what? Then that's you, dude.
It's
but
too much. Look, think
I
about
don't
it
think
this
20
way.
is too much because, look at the DLC for Red Dead. Wasn't that like 20 or something? I know for Big Surf, I know for Burnout, when I bought Big Surf Island and all those cars, it was 20.
For 7, I got you mean the Undead Nightmare?
Yeah.
For a standard $8 for I spent 8 hours on it. So
I don't know. I bought Burnout's DLC for 20, so.
But no, that's DLC. Like, this is an entire...
It's still story because I have
game.
mission shit to do.
Here's another problem, okay? Metal Gear Solid, obviously, is all about... Well, not all about, but there's a lot of story in this. There's a
So
lot
what
of
you're saying
cutscenes.
is you want...
How much will actually
who
get?
knows if there's cutscenes in...
Exactly.
this?
I'm sure there are cutscenes.
it's Metal Gear. Of course,
They're
there will
probably
be.
not as long as Metal Gear 4.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
There's-
hopefully
there's-
because
There's
Go ahead.
fucking cutscenes. The ending of Metal Gear Solid 4 is like 2 hours long. That's longer than this game. The ending.
Maybe someone said, Kojima-san, we don't need, we don't need fucking 10 hours of, a cutscene. If he wants to make a movie, make a movie. You're making a game here.
This wouldn't be a problem. If this was like 2 hours of gameplay, that almost makes sense. But
And then,
2 hours
this
with
might
the
be
story?
like the easiest difficulty or some shit, because most of these guys at these big review sites don't even play shit properly.
I agree. This is probably... There's a couple things. Probably rushed through.
I don't understand you guys. You bitch and moan about this being 2 hours long, but there's
I'm
fuckers
about to
beating
be on your
Dark Souls
side,
in
and
like
you cut
an
me
hour.
off, so I don't know.
There are people beating Dark Souls and Demon Souls in like an hour.
Yeah, not their first time.
no.
Well,
All right, Breezy,
Actually-
I have 2 points for your point, okay?
ooh, I have points.
You have points. I'm giving you points, okay?
How many points?
2. They
Yeah.
probably had to rush through because they're limited for time, so you're not, really exploring, really getting stealthy, etc.
Exactly, yeah.
Number 2, this isn't everything in the game. This is the main story mission, so there's other side quests, other things to do. that could potentially, pad it out.
Head up about 2 to 5. So
That's why I said 2 to 5. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
That's
I
still
heard 5
that's still
hours.
way too much though.
it's still $5
I don't think so.
or $5.
I think 20. I think no, but seriously though, like 20. I don't think that's a bad deal for 5 hours because we've had other games come out this gen that I've seen people beat in 3, and they were $100-200 million projects. And one of them talking about is Call of Duty.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's like I don't see. I mean, maybe because you expect it from Kojima to have these long thought out stories and stuff, but
it's more expensive. Like, yes, the cheapest version is $20, but you could still be buying this for $40.
I mean, here's the. The cheapest one, but that's in the old previous generation. You've got the new PS4, whatever. You don't want to play on that. It doesn't make sense, So.
Well, no. Do you own a PlayStation 3 now? Yes. No.
I don't want to play this on that.
Okay, but see, well, so then either you bite the bullet and pay $40, or you break out your PS3 if you still have it and pay $20, or just watch a cutscene of all the shit on YouTube and wait for the full retail version that he's gonna do in like next 2-3 years.
I just.
Talking about the product as it is. So we're not talking about any future. We're talking about the product as is.
Well, the product is as it is. It's not a product. It's not a bad product. It is a game. You're playing it. You're gonna enjoy it. It just seems everybody has a problem with price.
It's a glorified demo for $40 almost.
It's not a glorified demo.
Yeah, it is.
It kind of is.
Demos have you playing the same level over and over. This is not a demo. This is a
demo gives you a
game.
sample, a taste of what the game is like.
This is supposed to be a prologue. You can't call a prologue a demo.
Okay, the Dead Rising 2 had Case Zero. It was like a $5 demo that led into the game. That's the closest example to this, and I'm sure it was 2 hours.
I could argue Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen as well. That was a full release, and it was just, 2 hours worth of bonus content for the game with like this multi-tiered dungeon shit in there.
Well, they added a bunch of... But that's all...
They didn't add shit
different
to that.
stuff. That's post-game junk. This is
But if they would... It's not really post in my... Well, it did come out after the original release, but they package all that as a... I understand that. But they package all that shit as like, oh, this is a brand new Dragon's Dogma. Now you can do shit that should have been in the game in the first fucking place. Like, he built, in my opinion, Ground Zeroes as its own legitimate release. So I don't see how pricing is an issue here. You know it's going to be a good game. If it's too expensive, wait for it to be cheaper.
Not necessarily. I don't know what's going to be. I haven't played it yet. I don't know it's going to be a good game.
Well, Kojima hasn't made shit in forever.
I can't say because I haven't played it that it is going to be good. I cannot say that.
Okay, let's go back to Journey. I think most of us played Journey.
Journey is an hour-long game. It's an hour and 45
Journey's like
minutes.
an hour and a half.
Wasn't that $20 too?
Journey was $15, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it might have been 15. I think you're right. I think it was 15.
I think it was 15. That was too much. I didn't buy it when it was 15. I waited till it was on sale. That's too much for an hour and a half. Even though it was great.
But most people don't know it's an hour and a half because what they do is they get in these games and they walk around everywhere. And then the game becomes this 4-hour long experience when really it's only an hour and a half. It's the same thing with Dark Souls, which I mentioned earlier. Your first time through, you don't know you can beat the game in an hour because you're exploring everything.
Part of it is the learning process. That's part of it is the learning.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. These people never played the game before, and they already beat it in 2 hours.
Yeah. You can't say the same about Dark Souls. So.
Yeah. It's just concerning. Can we agree it's concerning?
I don't think so.
It absolutely is.
Can't we get
absolutely the price. Jeff, speak up.
Yes, voice of reason.
Please, Jeff, speak up.
It is absolutely concerning because if this works and it's something that didn't have to happen. Like I've been seeing a lot of comparisons to Metal Gear Solid 2 and the Tanker and the Plant chapter, where it's 2 parts of the same story, but they were on the same disc. Like that I agree was should have, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 was united on that disc. Is the prologue chapter to Phantom Pain so disconnected from the rest of the experience and so long that it needs its own separate release? Are they spending so much money that it needs its own separate release? Like, the idea, if it's unnecessary and they're putting this out, it could encourage this practice more, and we could just be seeing developers throw little teaser demos out there for $30-$40 just because Metal Gear pulled it off.
All right, here's my thing with this.
That would be an awful precedent.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Most of the devs out there that make games, let's just be honest with this shit, none of their games have an as in-depth story as Kojima. I mean, we have a few devs out there that do make very in-depth stories, but the Metal Gear Solid series has an incredibly strong storyline.
Okay.
I don't see a problem with selling a prologue of whatever needs to happen for people to understand where.
Yeah, but you can do it sell for $5. Don't sell it for 40.
You
sell
know,
it for $5.
You know what? Maybe he can. Well, maybe he couldn't do it for $5 because he has a studio.
Don't do it.
But
Do
maybe
it
he
for
needs
20 or
to tell.
30.
He needs to
No,
do.
not
He
20,
did it for
5.
20. But see, that's the
5.
thing. But no, he can't. But listen, he can't do it for 5 because
Then don't do it.
But he needs to do it to tell this story the way he needs to tell it. Where were you people bitching when fucking Call of Duty came out and it's only 2-3 hours long?
I
Where
always
were
bitch
you
about Call
guys?
of Duty.
Yeah, that's just.
I always bitch
No
about
one
Call
gives
of
a shit. That's
But
stupid.
you should give a shit because it's the same issue.
No, the difference
These
is I
games are
expect
short
the
as
Call of
fuck.
Duty single player to
be
be
shit.
5 hours and to be kind of throwaway. Cool, maybe, but throwaway. I expect a Metal Gear game to be 20 plus hours. Even if this is a prologue, that's still 5 to 10.
The more time, listen, you guys have to understand something. The more time you spend working on a particular thing, the more money it costs. Okay? So if he say he all right,
fucking do it.
but see, you can't say to him not to fucking do it because if he releases whatever he's going to release after this and he didn't do this, he still has to release that previous shit and say he puts it out for $5. Now his company is at a fucking loss. And now he has to lay people off. So which one do you want?
I think they're a big enough company.
I think that there are ways to tell the story that are also cost effective.
I'm a little
what way
confused.
is that? Is it?
I don't know. I'm not a fucking game designer.
But you gotta. But you have to. See, you can't just spurt out.
Why not?
Because the problem
It's
is
basic business sense.
It's not. But okay, I could talk on this. I could talk on this in depth. My situation, for instance, it's cheaper for me to get concept art from people, paying them at a commission, versus hiring them on full time. Because if I hire them on full time, now I have to pay their wage.
Yeah.
Now I have to sell more units. Now I have to look at doing potentially more marketing just to make up for hiring this extra person. And for Kojima, who just opened a new studio in the United States, who just hired a whole bunch of new artists and voice actors for this game, he had to pick a price point that met with however many people he hired to pay them whatever he needs to pay them wage-wise and to keep his company in the green, while simultaneously making whatever game he's making at the Japan studio.
It's not a good precedent. It sets a bad.
It's not a bad precedent because
It totally is.
It's not, because if it comes out and everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is the next great thing since sliced bread with fucking cinnamon swirls in it," nobody's gonna give a shit how much it costs. Nobody's gonna give a shit. Except the minority, which is us.
It's bullshit, plain and simple.
You know, I think I'm coming around, Breezy.
It's not. You guys got to look at this
country.
financially.
I
You
would
have
never
to.
pay $40 for 2
Well,
hours.
then don't pay 40. Guess what?
Yeah.
Pay 30. Don't pay 30. Guess what? Pay 20. Guess what? If
Pay
that's too much,
5.
fucking wait for it to become
Exactly.
cheaper.
I'm with you, Breezy. Free country. Just don't buy it then. I guess I just won't
Wait for it to
play
become
this.
used. Buy a used version. Hell, get whatever. Just wait. Then don't buy it outright right now.
I'm
And if it
trying
was
to
on
stay
the
in the middle.
PC,
I'm trying to stay
As
in
far
the
as this
middle.
goes, I'm trying to stay in the middle because we don't know much about this game. We know that it's open world, that there's side quests, and that Game Informer apparently beat the main quest in around 2 hours.
This story is almost. It could be spun the other way and say Game Informer is being irresponsible by saying something like that
That's
and
true.
releasing this out and intentionally doing this so people will go. It's so you can go read the article. You know, that's purely what it is. We said this that we know is going to poke the bear,
This is true. This is actually a very
that could be
and that
true.
bear's Greg.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry,
when
the idea of that much for that little, just, you know, it's a bad precedent. Like, whoever first started microtransactions is the same type of thing.
But this is the thing I don't get. Like, we don't know what it's gonna be quality-wise. All we have is like the little gameplay demos and shit we have from like E3 and whatnot, and some trailers and some screenshots. It might be the best 2-hour experience that you paid $20, $30, or $40 for, because nobody expected The Last of Us to do what it did. Nobody expected Tomb Raider to do what
Really?
it did. These were full releases.
It was Naughty Dog.
Yeah, but this is Kojima, so why does Naughty Dog get a pass for The Last of Us, which is a brand new idea, and take on a survival horror genre where he's releasing a prologue to a much bigger universe of a game. I don't understand where, and then Kojima makes good work the same way Naughty Dog makes good work. So why not have faith in the creator and his story to give it to you? Because we all see Transformer, and we know what Transformer is going to be: explosions, some bitches' titties popping out, and getting pissed off.
That's
about
what happens in Transformers.
Yeah, explosions, robots, some chick screaming. Then Shia LaBeouf comes in and says some stupid shit, and then it's back to robots.
I think that description is better than the movies.
That actually was better than the movie itself.
That's what his Michael Bay films is.
I would rather give you my $10 than I gave Michael Bay $10.
And I don't know, but me and you, Greg, we live in different areas. Just for the matinee in my state, it's $12. So
yeah, it's about 10 here.
So I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I would be honest here. I've never played any of the Metal Gears.
We can't even be talking about this.
No. I want to say this. I've never played any of the Metal Gears, but I despise stealth games. So I just refuse to touch them. I like the siphon filters. I like all of those stealth games.
You need to cut this out. This kind of invalidates his argument.
Yeah.
Invalidate my argument. How do I invalidate my argument?
You haven't played the games we're talking about.
I can, but why do I need to physically play them to see that there's great quality in them?
Okay, here's the thing with it. They can do it. It's within their right to do it. They can release this game for $100 and it can be 5 minutes of like GIFs. They can do whatever they want. The deal is, it's like cat GIFs. It's adorable.
I know, but 5 minutes worth?
That's the point. They can do whatever they want. I feel this is more of a test the market thing. And maybe it's more than it should be, and it probably is more than it should be, but this is a good title to test it with because it obviously has a big following.
I have a question.
No.
Directly for you, Ben. What is he testing? What is he testing market-wise?
The demo for pay, the large demo for pay market.
Oh God, I hope no one buys this for that price.
People are going to buy it.
People are going to buy this.
They're going to, but I'm just scared what happens 6 months now when every game is releasing a couple-hour demo.
Listen. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen, Greg. The studios that try to pull up the same shit as him.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do it successfully.
They're not going to be able to do it because, for one, his stories just shit on a lot of other companies that try to tell great stories. They just do not have the capacity.
He's got the draw. We couldn't have I don't even know. Even a God of War could probably do it. Couldn't do it. But it wouldn't be able to. Yeah, it could try and maybe do it, but probably not as well. I'm trying to think of even there are certain franchises that can do this and make money. I know for a fact the Case Zero thing for Dead Rising that I brought up earlier, that did well for them. Now, obviously, that was cheaper and that was a digital only thing. This is an interesting model. I don't mind necessarily paying for stuff like this, potentially, if it's priced right and whatnot, and if there's bonuses in the real release. But I think, I don't know, it's almost smart for them to do it. They don't lose anything.
There are only a handful of studios and individual designers who could do something like this and have it work successfully. And from the man's track record, I don't see this being a bad first step in what is going to be something larger, because to me it's the equivalent of Bungie saying, all right, all those Halo books and shit that all represent the universe of Halo, let's make a 2-hour long game that explains all this shit and put it out for 15 to 20. I really physically can't see a problem with it. And the fact that he's offering multiple paying brackets is him saying, you know what? If you don't want to pay 30, pay 20. You don't want to pay 20. You want it next gen, here's 40. It's not full retail. It's, I think, discounted as hell. So, which makes me think, obviously he's going to have to pay Sony and Microsoft. They're going to get a percentage for hosting the game. So his cost to whatever make up is probably high, but not too high. Because, again, he's still making another game. I mean, look at Square Enix. They have games all over the fucking place. And they've not been doing well at all.
Yeah, there's two sides to look at this. There's the artistic side, where does the story need to be split up into two different games, like what movies have been doing for a few years now. It's Twilight, Harry Potter, why did I say Breaking Bad? Hunger Games. How do you get those two confused?
Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn. Yeah.
This sounds like a horse movie. It does. Like he got a horse named Dawn,
But
and he has
yeah,
to.
there's the artistic sense where do you need to break this up into two different stories, and there's the business side of have they invested too much? Do they not have faith in the product to make back their investment? So they have to split it up. And is this going to set that precedent where more companies are going to go out and do this? So I'm going to have faith in Kojima that he's doing what he feels is necessary for his story, but I'm also going to be cautiously optimistic and like if this is a complete story and I'm satisfied and it's a fun 2 hours, it's a sandbox I can spend time in and replay and get my money's worth, I'm going to be okay with that. But if more studios look at this and just try and cheapen the approach and it becomes more the norm, then we can start looking at that practice as more just a greedy business move. But,
I want to add one thing to this. The next thing is, you guys, we have next gen consoles out, so it would be foolish for him not to put it on the next gen as well.
Well, he is. What are you talking about?
I know he is, but I'm just saying it would be foolish not to, because that's a whole new user base at that point, as well as some old user base, and then he can't neglect the old fans. So I mean, and most people want disc copies anyway. A lot of people don't want to go digital. Hard drives die, and it's a whole another fucking fiasco.
I don't know. It's interesting. I think we've covered the range of opinions on it.
We beat Dawn into glue.
Certainly.
Yes.
So let us know in the comments below if you have any other feelings, any at all, about charging for a super demo. That's what I'm gonna call it now. Super demo. Well, no, it's endearing. It's super. So leave your comments below. You can also email us questions, comments, whatever, and we'll read them in the future. Podcast@thegamefanatics.com. Follow me on Twitter at TGF_KirbyLink. Greg's on Twitter.
Dandy Geek.
And Jeff's on Twitter.
At TGF_JSmith.
And Breezy does not want to be followed. Don't you even try it.
Come to a fucking demo.
It's a super demo. It's got a cape.
Made it worse.
It's a disc with a cape is what it is. And it flows behind it.
Wow.